All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to our Mega Monday. That's what we call it. A special Mighty Monday call. There we go. All right, we've got Canada in the building. We've got London in the house. We have South Carolina here. Welcome everybody. Awesome. So let's share the screen and discuss a few key points, things that happen today. Are you seeing the screen? Just drop a 1 in the chat if you're seeing the screen. Excellent. Right. So we actually had some very important news today, which was the US PMI news. For those who may not know what the PMI is, Purchase Managers Index, really is it's an indication of how businesses feel about the economy. And unfortunately, it fell. If the businesses feel negative about the economy, or if the index falls, it means that the businesses feel worse or not that great about the economy. And as such, it is a negative thing for that particular currency. And this is why the US actually fell today, and we saw all those other US peers rise, okay? Right? And that's why we saw all those other US peers rising. Now, initially, we were looking for selling opportunities on these pairs, right? And this is the importance of knowing and understanding the fundamentals, not just taking a trade idea or trade setup. So we sent out a trade idea for a sell on this particular currency. But when the news comes out, we recognize that, hold on a minute, the US is actually going to get weak here. So this is going to turn into a buy. Immediately, if you had a sell on, you just close the sell off, switch it to a buy. As simple as that's how trading works. But, trying to get this static trade idea, and trading is more involved than that. And this is why I try to push the idea of the importance of learning the fundamentals so that you know what is actually happening, you know what is taking place, so that you could switch things around when it needs to quickly. And that's exactly what happened today. We were looking to sell gold. We were looking to sell GBP USD. We were looking to sell Euro USD. But the news didn't go in our favor. So all we just do is close it off, switch direction. Boom, you're in. But you could only do that when you understand the fundamentals. Okay? You can only do that when you understand the fundamentals. If you don't understand the fundamentals of what's going on, you wouldn't be able to do that. All right. So this week is going to be a very interesting week because, of course, it's the first week of the month. First week of the month is first Friday of the month. What special news do we have there? Anybody? Feel free. Very interacting. Okay, several people joining in the fun. There we go. Let's welcome them. Yeah, so we have the non-farm payroll. I mean, the non-farm payroll is hardly doing anything these days. Usually CPI and we saw the PMI did some more damage than usually the non-farm payroll does. But the non-farm payroll in itself is going to be pretty active this week. So the market itself may well and truly be setting up for that. So I'm expecting a lot of volatility, especially in the US pairs. We had the PMI today. There's going to be the job openings. So that's kind of giving us an inclination towards what the NFP is going to be. We have the ISM services PMI, right? We had the manufacturing PMI on Monday. Now we'll have the services PMI on Wednesday. That is going to be huge as well. The jobless claims, that is going to give us a bit of an inclination to what the NFP is going to be, and of course the NFP. So all the US pairs are going to be very volatile this week. All right. And we could simply just sit back and wait to see what figures come out, and then we make a decision as to whether that is a positive thing for the US currency, whether that is a negative thing for the US currency, and we could make trading decisions. And that's how we should be really making trading decisions. Okay. We do have some retail sales news on the pound tomorrow. So that is one that we should keep an eye on if you're trading the pound, and also the PMI services. So we had the manufacturing PMI for the pound. It was negative, but the US news overshadowed that that news on the pound. And we have the services PMI on Wednesday for the pound as well. So we should see. Now, we had some news from China, right? And we had the manufacturing PMI that was good. I want us to keep a focus on this for a minute, because we had some good news here on the AUD and on China. The reason why we look at China is because China exports quite a lot to the Australian economy, to the New Zealand economy, right? And because of that, we always want to see what the news is in China, and we had some positive news. Now, if you are a part of the MOODSWING community, I'll give you a little bit of sneak peek into that for those who are not a part of the inner circle just yet. Give you a little bit of a sneak peek. But we looked at, right? We looked at the that Chinese news today, and we came up with a fundamental analysis of what that is supposed to look like. So let's go and share this information for a minute, right? So this is our fundamental and sentimental analysis group. And you can see here that today we said, hey, we had the China general PMI manufacturing and it rose. Okay, we had that information. And then we did our fundamental analysis to see what sort of effect that is going to have on the Australian. So the news that the China manufacturing expansion is positive for the Australian economy for these reasons, right? And we give the reasons here: an increased demand for Australian exports. As Chinese factories ramp up production, there will be need for more raw material and intermediate goods, which could benefit the Australian exporters of commodities like iron ore, like coals, like natural gas, gold as well. Okay, it's another thing, right? Improve global economical sentiments. So a strong Chinese manufacturing sector boosts the global economy confidence, because China makes everything, and potentially leading to an increased demand of Australian exports as well, and potential higher commodity pricing. Rising demand for raw material from China could put upward pressure on commodity prices, benefiting Australian resource companies. However, there are some potential downsides, right? So a rising input costs, higher input costs for China could be passed on to Australian businesses, leading to inflationary pressures and uncertainty, right? That could come down the line, right? But it's just to note that overall, the positive aspects of China manufacturing expansion is likely to outweigh the downsides, meaning it is going to be it is a positive thing for the Australian dollar, right? So if we have this information, I'm telling you people, this is how to trade. Has nothing to do with any harmonic scanner, RSI, stochastic, nothing like that. This, what you're seeing here, is how to trade. Okay. And then we could just go to the Australian economy now. I mean, I didn't even look at the AUD USD today, but I should have based on the information. And people ask, so okay, so what should I trade? You only trade, right? You only trade the assets that you have information for. Yeah. You only trade the assets that you have information for. If you don't have any information for it, leave it alone. So AUD USD, right? Right. So let's see what time this morning that we did send out that info. So this was at 12 midday that I had a look at that. That Chinese manufacturing. So let's do a new share. Let's go back to this. Okay. So say 12 midday right here, we had that information that it should be positive for the Australian right here, 12 midday. That's the time. You can see it down here, 12 o'clock was this candle right there. Right. So there we go. Positive. And of course, well, you know, the US news was coming up, but we had that positive news for the AUD. Positive US, positive AUD, negative US all day long is a buy. Okay. And for tomorrow, what am I going to do with the AUD USD? What do you think we should do with the AUD USD tomorrow? What do you think we should do with the AUD USD tomorrow? Based on the information that we have, what do you think we should do with the AUD USD tomorrow? Don't be shy. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers. All right. All right, yeah. So we look to go long there based on the information that we have. We look to buy. Now, this part is us getting, yeah. So this part now is us getting the information of the direction in which we want to go in the market, right? So that's just one part of trading. The next part of trading, which is your technical analysis now, is we need to figure out what price we're going to buy this thing at. Okay. And this is now where all the education that I guess they put out in terms of you use the technical information or technical analysis to take a trade. That is not correct. You use technical analysis just to get your trade entries. That's the only reason for technical analysis. Okay? Your only reason for technical analysis is to find a technical level to enter the market at, and a technical level to exit the market at, a technical level to place your stop loss, technical level to place your take profit targets. That's the only reason for technical analysis. Technical analysis is not to give you direction. Okay? So we did our fundamental analysis and we believe that this is going to continue rising. Now, we have to now consider technical analysis to give us an idea of where the best pricing levels are. And this is where our tool comes into play quite handy, okay? So why we have all these lines and levels marked off here. So it gives us key pricing levels that we look to enter the market at. Now, I mean, based on the information that we have, it is strong information for a directional bias to the upside. Now, that's the other thing. If we have a very strong fundamental bias to one side, then that could inform the size of your lot sizing. So you could decide, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit more risk on this trade because I have information to tell me that we have a 70% chance this is going to push to the upside. And this is what a high probability trades should be categorized as. Okay, that's what high probability trades are. It's all about having the information. Okay, so at the moment, things are quieting down now. The dust have settled. I don't think that there's anything else going to happen here until potentially the Asian session. Let's go to the calendar and let's check and see if there's any news coming up in the Asian session. Yes, there is. Okay, so there's retail sales month on month in the Asian session for the Australian. So this could potentially affect the movement of this Australian AUD USD during the Asian session. At the moment, we have some key pricing levels here that is marked off by our mood swing tool. Okay, we have the fair price level. We have our mood swing level right here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this level off. I'm potentially going to put an alert just on this level here, just to see whether that news during the Asian session is going to pull this back. For the moment, I really don't know, right? I really don't know. We could go into the retail sales month on month here. We could go into that and see, all right, how the market is potentially supposed to react to the news that comes out. So it says the retail sales report gives an aggregated assessment of retail goods and services sales during a specific period of time. Retail sales in Australia are seasonal, variable, and it is a major contribution to the total economy in the country. A higher than expected figure should see a positive or bullish for the Australian, while a lower than expected figure should see negative. Okay, we have no idea what that is going to look like. So from previous so previously it actually was more positive. So that was a positive thing for the Australian. There's a consensus here. So it all depends on the deviation from the consensus as to what direction that may pull the market. Now, is this going to change the direction of the trend? That's the question. Is this going to change the direction of the trend? I mean, Australian has been trending up since April. It's been trending up. If we go on the daily time frame, we could see that clearly. It's been trending up and trending up and trending up. Is that particular news going to change the trend of the market? If it's negative, probably not. We may see a little bit of a pullback, but I don't necessarily think that the trend is going to change based on this this Australian retail sales. Okay, and is not the big issue at the moment that's being spoken about. So the bias is still for a continuation to the upside. I will wait to see whether it actually pulls back. We'll see. And the thing is, if we're up and we're following news, then we could, right? If we're up and we're following the news, then we could see what the news is, see whether it's positive or negative, and trade to suit. Now, one of the things that we have to constantly remember is the market needs liquidity to move. Okay, so even if, say for example, we get a positive on this AUD USD, it may not necessarily take off in a positive direction just yet. There may be a little bit of a stop hunting and all of that. And this is where yes, the smart money concepts come into play. This is why we've built in the smart money concepts into the into the to the mood swing tool now. So if we go to if we go here to the mood swing tool, there you come up. Nope. Okay. We have several. Okay. Let's close this off. Open too many. Right. Okay. So the mood swing tool, we have the smart money concepts now built into that. So you can see here we've got something like equal lows here, right? Whenever we see equal lows, right, we know that that is an area or a place of liquidity in the market. Okay. Right, area of liquidity in the market that potentially the market could spike down today, get the stop losses, and then continue pushing to the upside. So that's something to keep an eye on. Doesn't always happen, but it's something to keep an eye on. Okay, we do have our mood swing levels here, fair price level, mood swing level. So again, really within this zone is where I would be looking for a buying opportunity. Now we could switch some of these things off to just clear the chart up a little bit, but reality is for a buying opportunity, I will be looking within the zone here, and then we look for placing our stop losses. So this is the technical analysis part of trading, where we just trying to find the best entry levels, so that we can manage our risks appropriately. If we get in a good entry, then we could place our stop losses appropriately. If we decide, all right, the market is going to buy, oh, let's just buy right here, then if we have a pullback, you'll be in mega drawdown and you start to get nervous, right? I mean, unless you have a massive account, that you could handle the drawdown. But for most people, they don't have a massive account. So you've got to be very, very precise with your entries. Okay. So we sorted out our entries. We sorted out where we want our account protection to be. So if we're wrong in terms of direction, or if the news is very, very negative and the Australian decides to drop out of the sky, then no big thing. We have our account protection in place. Now, take profit targets. We could go to bigger time frames. We could use previous highs and lows as take profit targets, support and resistance levels, if we want to call them that. Supply and demand zones, however you want to play it. We could use those as take profit targets. We could even decide, you know what, I'm going to use Fibonacci levels, probably Fibonacci extension. So if this is the daily time frame, so if I go from a previous daily swing from, let's say, here to there, right, we could decide, are we going to go to the extension 1618, and we could even use these previous highs here. Let me switch the color around. Okay. And let's go back down to a smaller time frame now, right? So we could say, all right, that's our target levels for our take profit. Okay, we could even use the same Fibonacci tool to divide up these take profit targets again, right? So could say we'll put one at this 3. This is a 38.2% of this length. That's all it is. 38.2% of this length. That's where it is. 61.8% is at 61.8% is at this line, 78.6% is at this line, etc. 50% is at this level, etc., etc. So that's what the Fibonacci. I don't use Fibonacci for anything else except to measure percentages. That's it. Okay. It's not a strategy. It's not anything else in my opinion. Right. So we look for some movements to the upside on this AUD USD. And keep it as simple as that. Now, if you're day trading or intraday trading, maybe you want to take profit targets to be a bit closer than all of that, right? So this is more of a swing position, but for intraday trade, you're just looking for a nice 50 pips, 40 pips, 50 pips type move. Then there you have it. Okay, there you have it. So there we go. All right, so we go long on this Australian USD. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna drop the link here in the chat, and I'll also post it within the community as well. So boom. Be sure to save this if you're not a part of the community just yet. Be sure to save it, because when we close the Zoom call down, you will miss the link. The link will disappear. All right. So that is right. That is just to give you a flavor of how we approach things in the market and how we look at things to be able to come up with a trading opportunity, right? And how we should be looking at things in real terms. Now, for those of you who would have seen, we've put out a special offer for people to come in and get some access to the trade setups that we have. 1 month's free access to the trade setups for those people who are on the fence and trying to decide, or just for people who might be totally busy, have no time whatsoever to do all of this analysis and all the things that we've just gone through. We're doing a promotion right now. So we've sent the link for registration in the chat. We're going to do a launch of this on Sunday. We'll do a launch. So we'll give further details as to how you'll get access to that. There are terms and conditions to follow to be able to get access for free. So please do register, and by all means, tell a neighbor, tell a friend, tell somebody who you believe that this could benefit, and that we're going to be doing this for a month. All right. So let me just have a quick look at the indices. Okay, so we know that if the US has weakened, I think the indices had a bit of a tumble today. There we go. All right, there we go. So this was the trade setup that I had on the indice. I was expecting it to pull back again within the zone. You see, well, you see how close it came to our level, right? Key pricing level. But personally, I'm expecting this to continue pushing up now after this pullback. Now, let me do bit of a, how do I do this? I hardly ever use this tool. Oh, there we go. Right? So a lot of people who do what we call Elliott wave theory, right? They would say something like, all right, well, we've got the price and it swung up, and then we have a pullback and it's pulled back to the 618 level, and now it's ready to go, whatever, you know. But personally, I am biased for this to push up. Right? We had a bit of a tumble. It's come back to our key pricing levels here. It didn't touch it perfectly, but I'm expecting US 30 to actually start rising again, right? We do have some other sort of technical analysis type scenarios played out here. This has to do with the smart money concepts as well, where we had a big push to the upside. It created a bit of a what we call a liquidity void, fair value gap, if you want to call it that as well. Price has come back, it's filled in the gap, and now is ready to take off, right? So personally, if you're trading US 30, I think this is going to fly. But you know, we have quite a lot. We have quite a lot of US news coming through. But based on this information today, I think that is going to push up a little bit. Okay. Now, for those people who are within the community, you remember we did a two-part series on fundamental analysis. I would encourage you to listen to that again, so that you understand exactly what we're looking for, what drives the market. Understand that and get that into your system, right? You know, the fact, the whole matter of risk and whether risk is on or whether risk is off, things like that. That's important. Okay, so I'll pin that in the group to make sure that you guys could focus on that a little bit. And I will draw this setup up and send it into the group. Somebody's asking for UK 100. All right, I haven't looked at this for a little bit as well. All right, it's pretty volatile. Now remember we had negative news on the UK today, right? We did have some negative PMI information, so that potentially contributed to that. We do also have some retail sales tomorrow. So I would personally wait for this retail sales to come out tomorrow, and then I could potentially make a decision on that. But in terms of technical analysis levels, right, let's see where the mood swing is giving us key pricing levels here. It's thinking at the moment. So there we go. Okay. All right. So you can see price had a nice push to the upside. It came to this key price level right there. Okay. Which was an old mood swing level, right? All fair price level. So it's sort of created a zone. It dropped off from that zone. Again, because of that negative news that happened, and this was what this was 7 o'clock this morning. What time was the news? The news was 9:30 our time. So it just basically continued to fall during the New York session. Oh, somebody's coming in very, very late. Right. So yeah, I wouldn't do anything yet, right? At the moment, price is kind of in the middle of the ocean right now. We do have a key price level here. We have a key price level down there. So depending on whether this is positive or negative, we know where we want to buy from or where we want to sell from, depending on the fundamentals there, right? And that's it. Right? We don't have to do anything right now. Okay. So with that said, this is recorded. I'll drop it on the YouTube channel. Be sure if you're not a part of the YouTube channel. Be sure to be connected there. Let's just do a command contour. There we go. All right, so this is the address. All right, so subscribe to the channel so that we could get some updates. You could see videos from the past. All right. And we'll take it from there. All right. So I'll see you guys on the inside. Make sure that you register. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor. We've got that promotion going on, and we will continue to teach the truth, because the truth sets us free. Bye for now.